What's up, y'all? What's going on, everybody? How we doing? This is our first episode. I'm Coach Spoon. The name of this podcast is going to be called Around the Ring. It's a dope name, ain't it, y'all? So Around the Ring, basically, it's all about boxing, really. We're going to be talking about different news and different fighters. And we'll be bringing in celebrities. We'll be bringing in world champions. We'll be bringing in just a massive of individuals. We'll be bringing in football players too, basketball as well. So, Around the Ring is, I think we all as human beings, we got a fight. We all have a fight. And we got to learn to fight inside our ring and be the best at it. So, again, my name is AKA Coach Spoon. They call me Coach Spoon. Got a boxing gym called Scorching Boxing. Got some amateur fighters. I got some pro fighters. Oh, yeah, by the way, I got a pro fighter right here. Her name is Lauren Michaels. She fought amateur. She's a pro right now. Right now, we're looking at a fight in August for her. So I'm going to let her tell her a little bit about herself.
All right, what's up, guys? My name's Lauren. Like Coach Spoon said, I'm a professional boxer. I debuted last year. I've had 4 professional fights, and I fought on the DC Destroyers for Team Combat League this season. Watch out for that next season, too. We'll probably be on that again with a few more fighters from our gym, hopefully. I had about 18 amateur fights before I turned pro. I'm 2-2 as a pro now, looking to go 3-2 next month. So looking forward to being a part of the podcast and getting this going.
Absolutely. Big up to Coach Barry Hunter. He's a big mentor of mine. Team Combat League. Bug, what's up, Bug? But yeah, so we're going to get into the topic right now. Shakur Stevenson. Shakur Stevenson. First of all, let me say something about Shakur Stevenson. I like Shakur Stevenson, okay? He's from Newark, New Jersey. Guess what? I'm from Trenton, New Jersey. So we got something in common there. I got my folks up in Newark. Y'all know who you are, my brother Q. But Shakur Stevenson's, we getting a big lash about him right now. And I just don't know about this. What you think, Lauren?
I don't know. I do not understand why. I like Shakur Stevenson too. I think he's a great boxer. Of course, respect to him, but I just don't understand why he gets so much play and so much talk on social media, on all these podcasts, everywhere. I don't understand what the hype is and why everybody is hyping this man up.
You know what? He's a good boxer. I'll give him
For
that.
sure, of course.
I think Shakur Stevenson he's very defensive. I like him. Terrence Crawford, I love Terrence Crawford. Andre Ward, I know that those are his mentors. And potentially, I heard from the grapevine, Floyd Mayweather might possibly sign him. Unsure about that. I just got to get a little bit more details in my resources. But I think him going with Floyd may be an opportunity. Floyd may give him a couple of things that he may need to maybe take it to another level. But I'm just still on the side because, when he fought the guy, his second fight, the last, what's that? He fought Edwin, what was his last?
De Los Santos was his second to last fight.
Yeah, he ran.
Yeah.
He ran, and it was a bad performance. And then this upcoming one, the guy he just fought. I just think that he got the backlash. I think a lot of people was a little bit. I think that his performance. I thought his performance was good. Now, the guy, he was a little bit tricky though. He had a little bit of movement. He had a little bit of head bobbing that kind of threw him off a little bit. So I think that this last fight, it wasn't as bad. I just think that people, him being home in New Jersey, I think at the Prudential Center, I thought that people was looking for more of a high performance with him. I think
he's underwhelming to watch.
That's true.
Like, he just consistently puts in kind of an underwhelming performance.
Yeah.
I always expect a little bit more out of his fights, and he never delivers.
You know what, too? We was talking about this, right? Shakur Stevenson, he's a boxer, right? But it's different. See, back then, I'm old school, y'all. I'm old school. Back then, you had to learn you had to box, but I don't know if he can fight.
Never seen him
difference. Like, look, boxing, you see guys now, they box, yeah, but can you fight? You know, that's the big thing. So I use this for example. You got Crawford. He can box and he can fight. That's a little different. Andre Ward, he can box and you know he can fight. Oh, Tank Davis, you know he can box and you know he can fight. So I just think that he can't fight. I just think he can box. And that is the difference that I see, the difference that'll separate him and the Tank Davis. Mm-hmm. What you think about Tank Davis?
Oh my God, I love Tank.
Okay.
He's one of my favorites.
Tank Davis, yeah.
He'll wipe the floor with Shakur, no doubt.
Big shout out to my guy Kenny Ellis. I'm close to him. We got a nice chemistry together. Kenny and whatnot. I think they had Tank ready for Martin, which he did the display a nice performance, and then also Lauren, she's humble, so we go down to Tank Davis. We spar down his gym a lot. So but yeah, I don't think that. I mean, they calling out a big fight for Shakur Stevenson and Tank Davis. I don't. What you think? How you think that's gonna go?
I just don't think, unless Shakur Stevenson really changes something up, I just don't see how he's gonna be able to stop Tank. Tank has too much power for him. I've never seen Shakur doesn't really have a lot of power. He doesn't really throw a lot of volume. That whole step back, lean back, Tank's gonna walk all over him. He's gonna eat that up. If he's just gonna stand there and back up to the ropes like he did in this last fight,
yeah,
it's going to be over sooner in that Martin fight. And I thought Martin gave him some pretty good work for some of those rounds, too. He seemed about as well prepared as he could have been for Tank. It's just, I think Tank's just at such a higher level than everybody else right now. There's really no one in that division that's a huge threat at this time.
And you know, Shakur, I just can't get my finger on it. I love his grandfather. Did a great job with him. I think they got a nice, solid team. No, and again, I think that, you know, Shakur Stevenson, I think he's a good fighter. I think that, but I think when you start talking about Tank, I'm looking at it like, you got to think, Shakur Stevenson's got, 10 knockouts? 10 knockouts? He's like 22. What, he 22?
When
22
was his last knockout, though?
He got 10 knockouts.
While.
Tank got 28 knockouts and 30 wins. Now, he got more knockouts than you got pro fights. So it's like, how this is not, you know, how you speaking about, like, you calling Tank out. I just can't figure out what you're going to do to even hurt Tank, or for Tank to respect the factors of your punching. And also, let me say this. When I watch Shakur Stevenson, right, I see a lot of amateur boxing still in there, right? I just feel like it works now. I just think that when you start getting in there with powerful punchers like a Tank Davis, Tank will put his hands up just enough so you can throw that stuff. But he gonna just get closer and closer to you to where destruction comes. Right? I think that, you know, I think that Tank is very skillful boxing wise as well as fighting wise. And I just think that's the biggest difference.
He's the whole package.
He got the whole package. But let me ask you a question. So real quick. Mayweather. What can Mayweather do if he was to sign Shakur? What can he do to change it? Just saying. I'm just saying.
I hope he can teach that boy to fight. Shakur needs an inside game.
It's okay.
He needs an inside game.
Okay.
He needs more power. He needs to get a little bit stronger. If he's going to get in there with Tank, he better learn how to fight on the inside, and he better come in a lot stronger than he's been coming into these last few fights.
Yeah.
I just don't see his defensive style working against Tank. It just seems like a complete contrast to what Tank does. Like, I just don't think it's going to mesh very well. I don't think it'll make a very good fight.
Yeah.
I respect him for calling out Tank. Like, at least someone's doing it. At least someone's calling out the big fights, because nobody ever wants to do that. So lots of respect to him for that. But I feel like he's going to have a whole new game plan to come into the ring with that man.
I think Tank is obviously the cash cow now, right?
Right.
Can we all say that? He is the cash cow of boxing. I mean, unfortunately, despite of, knowing the camp and so forth, I don't know what transpired, what happened with the Floyd Mayweather and they disarray. Nobody knows the true essence of it, of that. Just but the inside individuals. But I think that I thought Floyd did a good job though, promoting him. Mm-hmm. We got to say that. I thought he did a good job promoting him. Now whatever going outside of that. I mean, that's just something that, because Tank fought, he fought Cruz. I mean, he fought Garcia. He fought the top guys that was there. Obviously, he didn't fight Devin Haney and so forth. But I think that, Devin Haney did get a little bit exposed with Ryan, mm-hmm. right? Despite, with the steroid situation, right? What do you think? Do you think this with Ryan Garcia? Do you think the steroids allegations and so forth that he got caught with? Would that have made a difference in the Haney fight?
Oh, for sure. Did you see him at weigh-ins? He was huge.
Okay. All right.
He was gigantic.
All right.
No, not the steroids he got caught taking. Like, I'm not super familiar with them. I don't know what all the benefits are. I know there's a lot of talk about it helps your recovery more. Okay. It helps your cardio more. And maybe that gave him the edge that he needed with Devin Haney. But also, that first round of that fight, Devin Haney got caught a bunch in the first 30 seconds of that fight.
Yeah.
And maybe that shook him for the rest of the night. I don't know.
I think, too.
I say that as Ryan Garcia's biggest hater.
See? Right. He probably see that, hey, look, so what? Hey, look, we don't care on this side. But I think also it might have give him a psychological factor, too, right? Because boxing is just not physical. Boxing almost is 90% is mental. You get guys that train all day long in the ring. Outside the ring. They hit the bag. They hit the pad work. They do all that stuff. And you see all them clips of them in Instagram and Facebook. You like, yo, he ready. Boy, he get to that fight, he forget all his training. Mm-hmm. Right? Because they forget the training because, I understand now, on the social media side, I know it's a big thing. But their minds are still stuck in social media. They forget about the fight. Mm-hmm. And so I think what they do is they leave their training home. And they're not 100% focused. And this sport of boxing, you're going to hear me say this tons and tons of times. Boxings are like Navy SEALs. Like, this thing, you need to be in and out of what you need to do, and I just firmly believe that your coaches and your family, your supporters, they can walk you up to the ring, and that's it. Once you get inside, guess what? You know what I'm saying? It's time to go. So that's why I just call it inside the ring. because it's inside the ring. It's not just a fight. It's inside here too. This is your ring. Your ring is your mental state. All right. So that's the first thing. And a lot of times, guys, to me, they don't. You know, real quick, they'll tell you this. You know what's the best boxing movie there is? What's that?
Are you gonna say Rocky?
Rocky 4. I love Rocky 4. Let me tell y'all why. Rocky 4, right, to me, is the best boxing movie of all time. Let me tell y'all why. All right. So Rocky, right? All right. Apollo, right? Apollo died in the movie, right? He was killed by Dragon. All right. So, all right, his man died. All right. Then remember in Rocky 4, Rocky was he was going through some financial situations too. So he was going through that. And then, you know, remember Rocky retired. So people was pushing him to go out of retirement. So now he got to fight the Russian now. So he got a lot of things going on. And then also, this was a big thing, right? When Rocky said he was going over to fight the Russian, his wife, you know what she said? You can't win. She yo, listen, she was like, you can't win. Like, she didn't even believe that he can beat the Russian based upon what the Russian did to Apollo. So it was like he had all these things going on. And then, if you really look at that movie again, Rocky 4, when he went over to Russia, right? He was locked in, and I always tell the fighters, I tell them, I'm like, watch Rocky. He locked in. Like when he was training, he was isolated. He was in the mountains. He didn't want to see nothing but the Russian. So he put him on his mirror, and every day he looked in the mirror, every day he looked up, he just seen nothing but him. And I think that was like a true boxing, personality, because boxers, we go through our personal stuff on the outside, right? So we got to learn how to manage that. And what Rocky did, right? Rocky was, even though his wife didn't believe that he could beat the Russian, she still showed up though. So I respect it. She was like, I'm still going to support him, even though I didn't think he could win. But he was like, he had to turn into a different man. He had to turn into a machine. And his machine, because his focus was nothing but the Russian. So, you know, I think that a lot of times fighters, social media and all these things get in the way of their focusness. And I brought up Rocky. Sorry, y'all. Rocky was like the epitome. Like he beat the Russian, and it was just because his focusness. And even the Russian was bigger than him. He was faster than him. He had all the elements, but in his mind, he seen everything through that what he needed to do. So I just think that a lot of times, a lot of fighters now, they're on social media and whatnot, and I just think that the focus is not there, especially not like back in the day, fighters in the 80s and 70s and 60s and so forth.
Right. Well, they didn't have Instagram and all that to look at all day, and that worked for Ryan Garcia.
Yeah, it did. And you know, I think Ryan Garcia is a good fighter.
He's all right.
Well, you know, I think he is. I think
he's okay.
I think even with the Haney fight, real quick, I think the Haney fight, they, you know, when you know somebody, you know them. And they fought since they were young. So I don't care, you know, if I knew growing up, I know you, you know me. No matter how big you get in life, these two knew each other. So it was more of, I think to me, in that stage, it was more of a situation where they knew each other, and I think it was more of. Don't get me wrong, Ryan. I thought the steroids did kind of help him psychologically, too, as well, to give him a boost to have the overpowerness of him, and I think it did work out. So
Yeah, it did. Well, kind of. He did get caught.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure how much it worked out.
So, with Shakur Stevenson, do you think? Let me ask you a question. Do you think Shakur Stevenson? Do you think he could beat a Ryan Garcia? Do you think he could beat somebody of that nature?
I think he could.
Okay.
I think that his style would work better against a Ryan Garcia than it would a Tank.
Okay.
So I think that'd be a more exciting fight to watch. I love that Shakur Stevenson is a defensive boxer, and I don't necessarily think he's always running like when people say he is.
Okay.
But I wish that when he was moving, he has great footwork. I wish he would just throw a little bit more. I think he takes himself out of the game a little bit at times during his fights and misses opportunities that might otherwise be there.
Do you think Shakur Stevenson's kind of sometimes say, don't get me wrong, he say he like Mayweather. It's like, see, Mayweather.
I don't see that.
Listen, y'all better go back and watch Mayweather. Mayweather let his hands go.
Watching a Mayweather fight is exciting.
Early in his career, he was something special. And you got to think, Mayweather was when he fought Corley. He fought Chop Chop. He fought Chico. Castilla. Mayweather stayed in the box. He was a knockout artist. And, of course, when he got the money, of course he's going to pick and choose and select. Well, why wouldn't he? You know what I'm saying? He's a cash cow. Canelo do it. Don't he? So, where do you think Canelo got it from? Right? And then where do you think Mayweather got it from? Mayweather got it from these guys like Oscar De La Hoya. They was picking people too. So when he became the cash cow, you know what? You guys are going to apply about who I want to fight and what makes sense and what kind of money there is to be that be put out for the money for me to be made too as well. So, yes. What you thinking?
About that, comparing Floyd and Shakur is just not.
Yeah.
Like I said, watching a Floyd fight even today, it's exciting. You even when you know what's going to happen, it's fun to watch. It's exciting. I've never had that feeling watching Shakur Stevenson fight. I just don't think there's anything particularly thrilling about watching him. Like, he doesn't do. Boxing is entertainment.
Yeah.
You're out there to entertain people.
True.
I respect someone that has good fundamentals, of course, but ultimately you're out there to put asses in seats and give people a good show, and I just don't think Shakur has that little extra something that, like, Floyd had.
Now, we're going to do a lot of podcasts, but who is exciting in boxing besides Tank?
Ben Whitaker.
Okay.
I love watching Ben Whitaker fight.
Okay.
I can't wait till he gets a little bit more of a record going so he can fight some bigger names.
Okay.
Let me see, who else?
You got to think hard.
That Abdullah Mason kid.
Okay.
He's been in the talks for fighting Tank maybe down the road. He's 14-0 now.
Okay.
He's pretty nice.
Okay.
I'd like to see him do some
What about
things.
that? Heavyweights.
Heavyweight division's washed. Who cares?
I'm trying, y'all. What y'all want us to do?
They've got Usyk, and that's about it. I'm a Fury hater. I'm a Deontay Wilder hater. Who else is even in that division that would even give Usyk a challenge?
Yeah,
for real.
I know. Baby Miller. I don't know. Baby Miller potentially.
He's exciting to watch. I'll give him that. I would watch that.
Oh, okay.
Big Baby Miller.
He's
fun.
Yeah, he's fun. It's a. I know this is our very first podcast show. We glad y'all come to it, but it's just like, I know we all over the place, but it's a good thing. But that's the good thing about boxing, because one thing about boxing, like, it's so many styles, there's so many, it's so much stuff that you could talk about. You
talk about one fighter and then it brings you somewhere else.
It brings you to a whole totality of other fighters, and it's like, man, You gotta love this sport. Now, where we at right now, the excitement of it. We thank God, Tank Davis, Crawford. We still got some guys. All right, here we go, real quick. We're gonna Lomachenko.
All right.
And supposedly Tank. We're gonna keep talking about this, but we're gonna get a little bit of something on it now. How do you view that? Where do you see who would it benefit and who potentially, how effective you think this fight could be?
I think for both of them, that is the best option, and that's the best option for the division.
Okay.
Lomachenko's, he hasn't really been a household name in a while. I mean, of course he still is, but you don't hear his name coming up a lot anymore. He needs a big fight.
Okay.
And I think for Tank, that's the best competition right now for him.
Okay.
Lomachenko's footwork is unmatched. I would love to see that style against Tank's style.
Yeah.
That'd be a tough fight, I think.
Yeah.
I bet Tank pulls it out. I'd be willing to think that Tank would pull out the win.
Okay.
But I think it would be a challenge for him.
I think so. I agree. Is it with 50-50?
51-49?
51-49.
I think it's going to be
51-49,
close.
y'all.
I don't know if Tank would get the knockout with him because I think Lomachenko's understanding of the angles and the movement might be just enough to take the fight the distance. But we'll see because he's getting older now too.
We got a lot of time on this, but
That's
you're
true.
gonna always hear me say this: Tank is a body puncher,
And that's
no
exhausting.
matter how much you move around, that body don't move.
It's true.
So with that being said, that's something that we will definitely be discussing throughout our podcast and so forth. But we want to wrap this up.
All right.
We're going to wrap this up, everybody. We thank y'all for our very, very first podcast. It's called Around the Ring. I'm Coach Spoon. This is Lauren Michaels. You can check us on Scorching Boxing. Lauren Michaels, what's your Facebook?
I have Facebook. It's Lauren Haught, HAUGHT. You can find me on Instagram. My Instagram handle is WTFWHOA, WHOA. So give me a follow. Give me a shout on social media for sure.
Scorching Boxing, Instagram too. You can follow us too as well. And we will definitely have actually Around the Ring to Facebook and Instagram as well.
Yeah.
So we thank you for our first chapter. Peace.